So I've actually gotten a couple of requests for this one. And me personally, I'd have loved if somebody had made one of these videos before, because I could not, for the life of me, find anything on this guy. Tarq, the Water Hellhound, is such a freaking staple in Speed Dragon Speed 10 teams, but nobody seems to be able to tell anyone else how to build him. But here's why. So, Tarq is a little bit different than most monsters in that all of his skills are single shot based and his rune sets do not matter for this. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter which of these slots you pull those runes from as long as his stats are where they need to be. Now, in order to do that, for my both Tarks, because apparently he's just so worth it that I had to build two, I have Fatal and I have Swift, but both are on Blade because I didn't have enough crit rate otherwise. In fact, with the Fatal one, I still don't really have enough crit rate. That 52 is just not enough. I know that seems a bit much, but with Tarq, he has a very, very, very high rune capacity on him. Meaning the better your runes, the better this monster is, and there isn't really a point at which he tapers off. The higher his speed climbs, the higher his attack or crit rate or crit damage gets up there, the more damage he does, period. And I mean, I know that's true about a lot of monsters, but at least with Theo, you've got that triple crush, so it hits 3 times, you've got 3 chances to proc that crit rate. You can have a 33% crit rate and guarantee yourself one shot to crit. The same goes for most other damage dealers, but in cases like Perna, where you have to have that crit rate up there because you're only getting the one shot, the one opportunity. One shot, one opportunity. Sorry, I just cracked myself up a little bit. Anyway, so Tarq. If you read his skills, the first one is entirely damage based. It's just straight off attack power and crit damage. Nothing else really matters on that first one. Now, from there, you also have your second skill, which is speed based, similar to Theomar's first skill. Whereas dealing that damage based, or not solely on attack speed, but it contributes to it a lot. You obviously still have to have your attack power for the scalars to mean anything, but overall, attack speed is ideal. He also has this third skill, which is what makes him so good for Dragons teams, because you team up with 2 fellows, ideally, say, Galleon Theo, or Galleon and Vertihile, and he just one-shots through stuff. This also deals mass damage to the boss and applies any and all debuffs applicable, which is great. Now, how the hell do you rune him, though? Well, if you check out mine real quick, we're actually going to look at the Swift one, because it's a little bit better. I mean, obviously, the speed on the Swift one is lower, because I'm using the Swift set to compensate, but he also has that 76% crit rate, which is nice. Obviously, I'd like it to be just slightly or higher. I'd like to break that 80% mark. For the same team, my Vertihile needs a lot more attack speed and crit rate. Similar to the Tarks, actually. That seems to be my overall issue, is I need just a little bit more crit rate on everybody. But that's not what you guys came here for. You came here to hear how the hell you ruined Tarq. This Water Hellhound, this Nat 2 that should not be worth your time, but is so worth the effort. Like, he's so good. I have mine speed, crit damage, attack, which is going to be what you're going to see for the most part. unless people are just absolutely overpowered and they can run attack here, crit damage attack on like Fatal Blade with plus 90 speed anyways. That's crazy. You don't need to do that. It's not necessary. You don't have to show off that hardcore. But speaking of showing off, in the spirit of doing so, we're gonna run a couple of dungeons with him real quick, just so you can get an overall feel. Now, these teams are not consistent. My Galleon is not skilled out. See, he's still missing those last two. I actually maxed the second, then started and maxed the first, then started the third, and I'm actually a little salty about it, because those Devilmon, they could be doing a little bit better for me. I feel like they've been playing me wrong. So we're going to run Giants B10 real quick, and I know what you're thinking. Vertihile? Really? No, this team is not consistent, mostly because Vertihile, but we're going to throw Theo in the front, just to give myself that 24% crit rate, give me a little extra buffer, I think. Hang on. Yeah, so that gives Tarq, or this Tarq, my Vertihile, and nope, that's it. Tarq and Verde both have 100% crit rate. This Tarq should be sitting at like 80%? Nope, 76. And Galleon's going to be looking at 66, which is fine. Galley's crit rate doesn't matter all that much. The Tarks obviously do. Theo's obviously does, but he also has attribute advantage, which is nice. And then Verde absolutely needs 100% crit rate for this dungeon. But I'm going to stop talking about it, and we're just going to start running it. Now pay attention just solely to the damage output from Tarq. And this team might not clear. In fact, it probably won't. But it'll show you what you need to see. Look at that damage. Even without the defense break. Uh-oh, not looking so good already. Much better. Look at what that group hunt does to the mid-boss. Got these out of secret dungeons, ladies and gentlemen. I bought that one out of a shop. This one right there, in the middle there, got him out of the shop. Best 22k I ever spent. Don't ever let anybody tell you shop mons aren't worth. Oh, we might actually clear. Oh, no, we're not clearing this round. Oh, there he goes. Sweet. I got lucky. Normally it doesn't take the dots to actually kill him. But minute 35. I guess we'll keep the rune for now. Dragons. This is the team I've kind of been working for dragons for now. Until my Verde gets that 100% crit rate and I can get the speed up a little more. Till then, we're just going to show you. We'll play it safe. Play it way too safe. I'll try B9 after this as well. But for the time being, this will give you a little bit better idea. Love my phone. Let's see if we get any suggestions from anybody. And look at that clear time. My best is 48 seconds with this exact same team. I mean, I know it's only B7, that's not that impressive, but the fact that it can clear that fast with single target nukes is crazy. We'll see if it clears B9. It doesn't always, in fact, it mostly doesn't. Yeah, like Crux said, I don't know if any of you were reading, but 180 speed minimum. Attack slot 2 if on Swift, speed slot 2 if on Vio. And my guild's lame. They're not going to help us out at all. This team failed at a mid stage? What? Alright, we're actually going to have to watch it this time. I wasn't paying enough attention. Normally this problem, or this team's issue is the boss stage, not any of the supports. There it goes. Well, there you have it, guys. This is how to build Tarq for dungeon farming mostly. I've used him a couple of times in Guild Wars, but other than that, he just doesn't have the survivability for a PvP career, I guess. You're not going to see him in many PvP teams. You're not going to have to try to counter him at all. It's just not going to happen. He's not made for it. But for dungeon grinding, he's really good in light and dark rifts.